Before I get into this amazing little video, I am going to have a shower because I stink and I have to go and teach little children in an hour and 27 minutes. This is a hand towel and it's not covering anything. So, as you may be able to see, I have piercings. I'm going to be going through the piercings I have. I don't have many. Like, I have a decent amount that I feel like I can talk about them. I'm no expert. I'm on first name terms with my piercer. That's about it. This is such a terrible video. Oh my god. Only shooting stars break them all. So, I have an industrial bar, which is this guy. I have a Daith. I have a double helix, and I have my tragus. I also had a triple lobe. I don't know if you can see these 3 holes here. They're originally piercings. I'll get into that. Here's the deal. Oh yeah, I obviously also have my lobes pierced. I mean, everyone does. So I got my first piercing excluding lobes, when I was in year 10, so I was 15, I think? Yeah, probably 15, something like that. I didn't get it done with a needle, and for those of you who have piercings, you will be fully aware about, right, I'm going to show you in a second, about why you shouldn't get your ears pierced or anything pierced with a gun. Lobes are okay because it's not cartilage, so you're pretty good there. So I got this. These were my first non-lobe piercings, and I went to a jeweller's to get them done. We thought it'd be a good place to go, obviously having no experience in piercings. I got my double helix done, another friend got her double helix done, and then our 2 other friends got their seconds done. I haven't had that done because I don't wear earrings in my lobes, so there's no point, it looks stupid. I was told by said piercer, she was a jeweller, she really didn't know what she was doing, that it would take 6 weeks to heal. Now realistically, that'd be great, wouldn't it? But nothing's ever that simple, especially when it's cartilage. So, boy was she wrong. Spoiler, it took a year. It literally healed towards the end of summer between year 11 and year 12. For just that, them 2, it took a year, just over a year. And I personally blame it on the fact that it was done with a gun, because I've had other piercings that have healed much quicker with thicker cartilage. Maybe it was because it was my first piercing, I didn't know how to look after it, you know, I didn't get a proper aftercare sheet or anything, so that could have been a factor. There's a very normal part of the healing process of piercings. A lot of people refer to them as keloids. From what I've heard, these aren't actually keloids, but the keloids are something slightly different. But I'm going to call them keloids for the sake of this video. I constantly had keloids on the backs of my piercings, which are basically these lumps that come up during the healing process, and they are completely normal. However, they're not supposed to grow that big, and I mean they were big. Basically mine got really big to the point I had to go to the doctor, and the doctor was like, take out your piercing. I'm like, bitch no, this cost me £12, right? And for me, a 15-year-old, that was a lot of money. I had just quit my job. I had like no income, I was tutoring, and that was about it. So I was like, bitch no, I'm just gonna stick TCP on it until it goes away. Mistake number 1, don't put TCP on your piercings. Anyway, so here's the reason you shouldn't get your piercings done with a gun. 1, it damages the cartilage around your piercing because it's not actually like piercing, if you know what I mean. It's more, it's like shooting a bullet through your ear, but a really small bullet, as opposed to piercing you. Whereas if you use a needle, it's made to kind of do that, whereas if you're using a gun, it's the actual stud. So let me see if I can find a stud. Yeah. So say it's something like this, basically this actual end of it that's being stabbed through your ear, as opposed to something sharp that's made to be stabbed through. So it damages the outside of your cartilage, meaning the healing process is going to suck. So if you are going for any cartilage piercing, make sure you go into a legitimate piercing person who is going to do it with a needle. You will thank me. Trust me. This is called a tragus piercing. It's through this little bit of your ear here. I got this one done in August, so it's been 7 months since I got mine done, and it's pretty much fully healed. I had a keloid on it for a while, but that's basically gone now, so mine's pretty much fully healed. It's doing great. I never really had any problems with it. In terms of pain, it was great. I have a high pain tolerance, so my experiences and my idea of pain might be different to yours. My experience, it didn't hurt. It was probably the least painful piercing I've had done. Yeah, pain was fine. Healing process, it took a while because I got a keloid on it, and I'm very bad at caring for my piercings, and I mean I am terrible. I have like a whole cleaning station up here for my piercings, and I still suck at it. So next one that I got is this one. Now this is the one that I originally wanted when I went to get that done, but we were going to a place that didn't do these. We were going to a jeweller's, they only had a gun. You can't get that done with a gun. Don't get that done with a gun at all. Don't, it's not worth it. I'm gonna say I have cartilage that stops here. So like where you see this little thing here, this is where my cartilage stops, at this little like kink here. Here's the story. I went to get this done out of the blue. I finished college and I was like, you know what, I really freaking want an industrial bar. So I went to go get my industrial bar done because the piercing place was about a 3-minute walk away from my college, and I was just like, you know what, let's do it. Let's just go for it. So I went to get it done. Here's the thing, it bled, and I mean it bled like a lot. Basically the blood ran down this little like crevice here, somehow made its way through here and made like a nice little blood pond in my ear. I was stood in the middle of town crying. Bear in mind, I have a high pain tolerance. I was stood in the middle of the town crying with my friend who had like a cotton bud, just kind of like trying to clean out my ear. It was a mess. It was definitely a sight. The initial pain is the worst piercing I've ever had. However, after the first, let's say 24, 48 hours, it was fine and it was tolerable. I think the initial pain was due to the fact that instead of going through my cartilage, he kind of like clipped the edge of my cartilage, made it so that it kind of like chipped off a bit of my cartilage. Based on what I can feel when I like feel around it, that seems to be what had happened. Now, as you can see, mine has 2 little bumpy boys on the inside. As you can see, there's one there and there's a bit of a smaller one there. I got this done in October, so it's been 5 months. They've been there for the majority of it. It's partially my fault. It's also partially the fact that it's a fucking bar. It's nothing to do with the piercing. It's more a case of how I've cared for it and the fact that obviously it's going to take a while to heal because it's a bar going through your ear. One of the issues I have is the fact that when I sleep, I toss and turn a lot, and if a piercing doesn't hurt when I'm sleeping on it, I will sleep on it. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help what I'm doing in my sleep. So a lot of the time I end up sleeping on this, which means that it's not healing properly. And I've been told multiple times to take it out and put 2 small bars in. I'm stubborn. I'm not going to do that. Realistically, that's what I should do. In terms of aftercare and the pain after the initial, it's fine. It's just like any other piercing, really. And finally, I have this guy. This guy has this guy on it. Now that's a bloody healing. This is a new piercing. I got it done a couple of months ago. It's taking a while. It's very thick cartilage, as you can see on your daith. So obviously it's going to take a while to heal. In terms of pain, it's a slow piercing to get. They have to be slow, then they don't stab through the bottom of your ear, obviously. Same with this one, except this is thinner, so it's fine. It's not that bad. It's very similar to getting, it was very similar to my tragus. It just, the pain lasted a bit longer. But you can sleep on it because it's on the inside of your ear, so it's not affected when you put your head down on the pillow. I've not really had any issues with it, apart from this beast attached to it. It's part of the healing process. It will go away. It's fine. Now on to my triple lobe, which was an issue. I'm one of those people, I'm edgy. I don't want to go to a piercer to get a mainstream piercing like a triple lobe. So I didn't. I went to my friend's house and my ex did it for me. at that point, they weren't my ex. The way she did it, there was nothing wrong with it. She had done her research, she had actual piercing needles. There was absolutely no issue with the way she did it. However, the needles were too thick. The studs I got weren't meant for initial piercings, and they were also too small. It was also really painful, and I mean for a lobe piercing it was so painful. I was like watching Heather's while she was sat next to me waiting to do it. She was like, "Are you gonna do it yet?" I'm like, "No, wait. It took about 2 hours. We got through the entirety of Heather's, the musical, which is longer than the movie, and it still wasn't done. So yeah, that's how much of a wimp I was. Me, the person with the high pain tolerance, after the first one was done, I was like, yeah, no, not gonna happen. Eventually, they were both done, and I didn't like the pain. However, I thought it looked cool. It was itchy, but I hadn't had a lobe piercing in about 10 years. I was like, maybe this is what it's supposed to be like. I went to bed a couple of nights later and woke up, and they were really hurting. So, being the smart bean I am, I went to the bathroom and had a look. I shit you not, the piercing was gone. I was like, oh my god, it's fallen out. I'm gonna have to go stab it back in. So I went looking for this piercing because the bottom one was still in because that wasn't a fresh piercing. This one was gone, and then this one you could just about see. And as you can see, this one is like the one that's really not, it's scarred me. And I checked my bed and it wasn't there, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Then I went back into the bathroom and lifted up my ear and realised that all 3 studs were still in the back, which meant either the stud had fallen off the front or it had gone inside my ear. And I think I can leave you to guess which one had happened. I had to take out the bottom one and the top one, and then I sat there on the floor down there for like an hour and a half trying to squeeze out this stud like a pimple. It hurt. I almost passed out at one point, and I finally got it out and there was blood everywhere. It was a mess. So here's the thing, go to a professional. Don't get me wrong, right? I don't blame my ex. I just think that it was a combination of things that led up to that. Mostly the fact that I didn't get correct studs. The aftercare process is as follows. A lot of places will give you stuff to treat it with. So I've got these bags of salt that look surprisingly like cocaine. This is special salt. Can't remember what type of salt it is, but it is special salt nonetheless. And I have a couple of these because obviously I've got multiple piercings and I go to the same piercer every time. And they gave me these. Basically what I do is, for fresh piercings, I will put in some of this, mix in some boiling water, mix it together, then get a cotton bud and rub it on my piercings. Sometimes I'll use like cotton wool or a cotton wool pad, but usually it's these because especially with these ones you can like get in there. And then if there's water left over, I'll pour it over. If I have a problematic piercing, one that has like this on it, you're not supposed to use just solid TCP on it. For those of you who don't know, TCP is this antiseptic liquid, and it stinks and it's very strong and it stings, but it works. I basically put in like half a cap full of this with the normal cleaning solution that I use, and then put that on the problematic piercings, and it tends to clear it up. The reason you're not supposed to put just normal straight up TCP on it is because it dries them up and it hinders the healing process. It does work if you put straight up TCP on it. It does work, because that's what I did with these, and it cleared up my keloids in no time, and I didn't have to take them out. So don't listen to your doctor. I'm kidding, listen to your doctor. For a lot of piercings, the healing process can be long. When your piercer tells you not to sleep on your piercings, listen to them, because it's good advice. Some things I've learned are lip and tongue piercings heal very quickly because you've got the saliva is a very good healing agent and also antibacterial. So the risk of infection is minimal. Eyebrow piercings get rejected easily, but they are the least painful piercing you can get. Septum piercings, go to a good piercer or else they'll pierce through your cartilage. For a nose ring, don't get it done with a gun. And that's all I've got for you today. when you are changing out your piercing, make sure you go for good jewellery. Preferably get it from a piercing place, that's where I get mine from. And make sure it's like stainless steel, because if not it can get very easily infected, and especially like gold and silver you have to be really careful. It's just so much easier to get stainless steel. Listen to Carrie. Carrie's a genius. That's a lie. Carrie's not a genius, but still listen to her. That's all I got for you today. This was supposed to be a serious video, but you probably shouldn't listen to any of my advice. But if you have any questions about piercings or anything, comment them. I might do a piercing update video when I get more, because I am getting my rook done. I'm also going to get this re-pierced. And I might get my nose pierced. I really want my nose pierced, but I don't know if I'll suit it, so we'll see. Don't do drugs, stay in school. Bye.